A dynamic figure with indispensable knowledge and experience in a number of fields spanning both law and public policy, Jonathan R. Yarowsky has wielded his prowess since arriving in Washington, all the while using and viewing the law as the ultimate pillar in public service. In the process, he has combined a diverse professional and educational background to build a powerful, multidimensional practice at WilmerHale since 2013. He is sought out by policymakers, government officials, and a wide-ranging group of business clients for his multi-branch experience and his deep understanding of how law, policy, and media work together to shape Washington outcomes. Growing up in Kansas City, Missouri, in a home with a father who was the finest lawyer and arbitrator he has ever encountered, and a mother who was a child psychologist, he had the benefit of dual, powerful influences that created a large intellectual tent under which to pursue his interests. Upon completion of high school, he attended the University of Michigan, where he double majored in literature and psychology, earning a Bachelor of Science and graduating summa cum laude, and as valedictorian in 1971. He then continued his studies in multiple fields, first obtaining a Master of Science in Clinical Psychology at Cornell University in 1974, and then a Doctor of Jurisprudence at the UCLA School of Law in 1977, where he also served as Chief Common Editor of the UCLA Law Review. In the midst of his education, Mr. Yarowsky launched his professional career, first as an instructor of psychology at Cornell from 1972 to 1974, and then while in law school as a summer associate in the Federal Public Defender's Office in Los Angeles in 1975. The following year, he served as a summer associate at the entertainment law firm of Rosenfeld, Meyer and Sussman in Beverly Hills in 1976. While he ultimately branched off to focus almost exclusively on law, he has found his background in psychology to be incredibly useful throughout his career in helping to move ostensibly disputing parties to find some measure of consensus in developing public policy. And he truly believes that professional development, no less than personal development, needs to be a continuing process. On that topic, he noted, "I really believe that you need to keep growing at each stage of your profession and in your personal life. At each stage, we all need to internally question ourselves, am I growing or am I simply trying to impose an artificial order on change by staying the same? And if you choose growth, then you can bring all of your past chapters along with you. That sense of wholeness can only contribute to a more fulfilling life along the path forward." Mr. Yarowsky began his professional career at Covington & Burling LLP from 1977 to 1982, where he received training in antitrust and appellate litigation. In 1982, he accepted a position with the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, serving first on the Subcommittee on Economic and Commercial Law as a majority counsel. He quickly became chief counsel of that subcommittee and then later came to assume the duties of general counsel of the U.S. House Judiciary Committee between 1991 and 1995. During this period, he oversaw the operations of 6 subcommittees, comprising 40 attorneys, and gaining significant expertise in antitrust, intellectual property, telecommunications, constitutional law, civil rights, and immigration law. He also had the opportunity to work closely with officials at the Department of Justice, Federal Trade Commission, and Federal Communications Commission. Mr. Yarowsky also supervised the committee's investigative and oversight agenda. Among his other noteworthy accomplishments during this period, he was able to direct the passage of a number of significant antitrust, intellectual property, telecommunications, and civil rights legislation. Following his congressional service, he joined the Clinton administration as special counsel to the president, where he advised on a number of legislative and policy issues and certain congressional investigations, as well as supervised the selection of federal federal judges for the president. For the president. Following public service, Mr. Yarowsky joined Patton Boggs LLP in Washington, where he began to shape a rather singular multidimensional practice spanning legal, regulatory, and public policy work. During this time, he also served as vice chair of the Joint Presidential Congressional Antitrust Modernization Commission. Previously, he had served on the National Commission on Crime. Following his work at Patton Boggs, he then joined Wilmer Hale and is a member of the Antitrust Department, as well as being co-chair of Public Policy and Legislative Affairs. Outside of his work responsibilities, he has committed much time to pro bono service, as well as being active in myriad organizations and boards, including Cornell University and the Shakespeare Theatre Company. In recognition of all his accomplishments throughout his career, he has been honored with numerous accolades, including recognition by chambers as a nationwide leader in the field of government, designated as a trailblazer in government relations in its inaugural listing by the National Law Journal for his groundbreaking work in law, regulation, and public policy, named to America's leading lawyers in business, the Legal 500 in the United States, and as a top lobbyist by The Hill for many years. Despite all of his career achievements, however, he considers his personal life with family and friends to be the most rewarding aspect of his life. With his wife Lynn, whom he met at Cornell while both were studying clinical psychology, and his daughter Kim, who is following in the family footsteps by pursuing a career in psychology and art therapy, and his 3 wonderful grandchildren, he is a happy man.